Plano moms, welcome. This is Sarah Bonza.
Hello.
She is the Superintendent of PISD, and I really want to start by thanking you for making yourself available for all of the moms to ask questions and to tell us a little bit about your role and your vision for PISD and answer those questions today. So I'm going to invite you to kick off.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I am also a Plano mom. Had two kids grow up and go through Plano schools, and luckily, as my daughter was entering high school, I left the principalship, so I did not have to be her mom and her principal, and so I got to just be mom. So that was good. So thanks for having me on Plano's Mom.
You are welcome. So tell us about your vision for PISD.
So we are in the middle of a new strategic planning process, and as a first-year superintendent, it's been so exciting for me to have the opportunity to reimagine education for Plano ISD, and I've lived here for 27 years, and so having worked in the district and had my kids come through the schools, to reimagine the future for Plano ISD's kids on what it means to be college-ready, career-ready, and life-ready is an awesome opportunity. And so I'm very excited about the work that we've done with the community because the strategic plan team was huge. It was 75 people, even though the consultants we worked said, they said, take about 50 people. And of course it's Plano, so we have 75. And then the action teams was another 135 people, all together trying to figure out as a community of stakeholders who love kids, what does the future of excellence and success look like for the schools in Plano ISD. And so I'm really excited about the vision for the future, and I'll talk about it at the end just as a teaser of how you can learn what that is going to look like.
Wonderful. So we have grouped all of your questions into categories, and
Okay.
we're going to try and get through as many questions as we possibly can today. Now, we cannot tackle every question, right?
Okay.
So if there are any specific questions that you have, please be sure to follow the normal procedure through PISD if you do have anything specific. But we're going to run through each question in turn. And if we can, we're going to try and bring other questions in at the end. So let's start off with transportation and school lunches. So first of all, transportation, school lunches, they're two topics that probably top your frequent flyer list. So let's start off with school lunches. We have a mum who wants to know when lunches are going to be healthier.
Okay, so common questions. We get these a lot. And so it's funny because I'm going to start with the food service side of this. And nobody really likes to hear that. We hear that food is not healthy enough, but we also hear that kids don't like the food that we serve. And we are bound by the laws of the Texas Department of Agriculture. And so there are foods and laws about what foods we can and cannot serve and how we prepare the food. Also, kind of not very exciting, but we are required to follow the laws. That being said, our food service does make an attempt to bring in healthy foods and fruits and vegetables and grains, and the requirements for what they can, it's very strict about what they can put in front of a child. And so we try to do that. We're always looking for new ways to try to make foods healthier for kids and more attractive, trying to offer more options that include salad and trying to include options that include fruits and vegetables, and making sure that kids have the opportunity to eat healthy. You know, I think one of the comments also was about chocolate milk and pizza day. We cannot serve those unless they meet the foods of minimal nutritional guidelines. And so if we're serving it, it has to meet those healthy food guidelines. I know it doesn't sound like it, but some of those foods can be adapted in a way that become healthier choices than we're not allowed to fry anything, and we're not allowed, you know, so it's pretty tight. But we are always looking for new ideas about how to improve, and so we actually have a website for our fans department. It's www.pisd.edu, almost a /fans, FANS. And so if anybody has any ideas about that, put them in there because we want to know.
Awesome. We'll make sure we put the link to that in the comments as well.
Great.
So let's talk about transportation. So a couple of our moms wanted to know about fare busing, what your considerations are when it comes to designating bus routes and potentially hazardous pedestrian crossings.
Okay, so the law, because we offer transportation to students in our district, and we're required to follow certain rules, which is we don't provide busing to anyone within 2 miles and of their home campus, and so that's the eligibility criteria. However, sometimes there are construction projects, or I think one of these questions was about how many lanes of traffic does a student have to pass to get to their school safely. And so we work with the city on crossing guards because they help provide our crossing guards to improve safety. But if there is a route that a parent feels is hazardous that we have not looked at, because we have 100 square miles of transportation to look at, and hazardous routes can change over time. If you feel like you have a route that you want us to look at, we actually have a safety committee established who review these things on a regular basis. And so if you would go to buses@pisd.edu, there's a place to put in questions related to bus routes, or you can go to Ask PISD and put it in there, but somehow get the information to us about the route that you want us to take a look at. We have a few more hazardous routes at elementary because those campuses are closer to home. So we have more walkers to the elementary schools than the secondary. So secondary hazardous routes are not as frequent, but we do look at those. And so please make sure that we know where your concern is so we can evaluate that and see if we can add it. Fare busing is another thing that we have that most districts do not have. And it's kind of like the airplane thing, where if we have an empty seat on a bus and we can make that available to fill the buses up, then we try to do that where we can. It becomes at that point the expense versus the opportunity to allow that opportunity to offer an opportunity. That sounds terrible, but we try to do that wherever we can. But we also know that we only have limited resources, and so we hope to fill up every bus seat that we can to those parents who that is a help to them for their kids.
Wonderful. Let's talk about facilities and grounds. So we heard from a parent who expressed concerns about potholes in the Clark Stadium parking lot. For questions like this, how can parents get their concerns to the right person in the district? And do you know if the district has been made aware of this particular issue at Clark Stadium?
So yes, we are aware, and right now we are working on addressing the Clark Stadium parking lot. So there's a schedule with our contractor to go in there and make the necessary repairs to that parking lot because we know it's in not the best shape. To do a complete repavement of that is going to take us into the next bond election. But we're continuing to work, on patching those things and improving those. So you should see improvements there coming this summer as we're working with our contractor. If there are other facility kind of things like that come up, I would say go to Ask PISD. Some of it's in transportation, some of it's in facilities, some of it, and we will route that depending on where the issue is, because it just depends. So go to Ask PISD, put those concerns in, and let us respond through that.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure, mums, that you have all these details that you need to. So you covered also landscaping issues as well, Sarah. So if there's an issue with erosion that might be a hazard, would you have the same answer for that question?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that's a little bit different with the playgrounds. If it's a safety issue that you feel like something is unsafe, or there's something on the playground that makes it inaccessible to some kids, we want our playgrounds accessible to all kids. We really need you to reach out to your campus principal and or Ask PISD, because we really want to take a look at that. The erosion problems we're addressing campus by campus. We have 75 campuses with playgrounds plus the employee child care centers. So that's about 78. So that's a lot of sites to continue to evaluate. So we go out and we assess facilities on an ongoing basis, but sometimes certain weather conditions can accelerate erosion. in ways that we didn't anticipate. So we actually have some plans right now to put grass in at some of our playgrounds. And so where the erosion is the worst, grass is a better option. And this summer, we're going to go in and seed some playgrounds with grass. Now, I don't know who asked that question. There's lots of schools. Like I said, there's 78 playgrounds out there. And so we just need you to let us know where your concern is so that we can communicate back. If you're in the grass plan or you're not in the grass plan, we can maybe adjust that or take another look at it because we want to get out and see.
Awesome. Okay, so enrollment and boundaries. Are there any plans to rezone any schools in PISD?
Okay, right now our enrollment is fairly steady. It's dipping. Some of our secondary classes leaving are bigger than our enrolling classes coming in, kindergarten 1, 2. Families are having fewer kids. Housing costs are a little bit high in Plano, if anybody hasn't noticed. And so we are not looking right now to make massive boundary changes. Now, I'm not saying that's for the next, I don't know how many years, but at this time, the way that we're addressing those boundaries is on undeveloped property. So if we can get in and rezone before something is built, so when people come into a place, they know what school they're going to feed into, we work with our demographers to do that. And that's the plan right now. We also have had a change in how we can use portable buildings. And so not really a topic anybody wants to hear about necessarily, but you can no longer use a portable to relieve enrollment capacity because of the storm shelter issues. When the laws changed around storm shelters and safety and security, hardened spaces, portables no longer allow us to have relief in that way. So we either have to look at boundaries, which, we can look at in smart ways, of the undeveloped property kind of way, or in ways like the bond committee did last time, is they had an allocation in the bond where if a school got beyond capacity and the relief was not in the schools around it, then we can add on to a building by adding classrooms. And so Barksdale is a perfect example of a place where we went in and did a renovation, but then an additional part was added in classroom space to that building to allow for enrollment relief. And so we know that based on our demographer progressions and demographer projections, that there are some campuses that we're looking at, okay, this is going to be an overcrowded scenario, what can we do? And we're looking at all of those options. So that's where we are on that.
Fantastic. Okay, let's talk about school finance.
Okay.
It's election season, so many of our mums are, looking at their property tax bill. And for those of you that don't realise this, but actually much of your property tax bill is kind of attributed to PISD, but there are a lot of interesting influences on where the money actually goes. So what is the district doing to address the state recapture of our tax dollars? They call it Robin Hood, Mum. So if you've heard that phrase, Robin Hood, that's what that is. And what is the district doing to fight for transparency of how these dollars are being spent by the state?
Okay, so I appreciate this question because it's really important, and it's important right now to raise our voices. This is the school finance session. If we don't take advantage of advocating for Plano and Plano ISD now, we're going to lose the golden opportunity that we have. And so I feel really strongly that it's going to take all of us to have the school finance bill come out at the end in a way that is beneficial to us. So just to set the stage, if you pay $1.17 on every $100 of taxable value, 39 cents of that goes back to the state. We don't see it. And so what that means is even as property values rise, we don't keep those dollars in the district. So we actually started this year with a $7 million deficit, even though we had 8% property growth, but we don't keep the money. So we need property tax relief, and the only way to get that is through school finance reform. And the only way to reduce recapture is for new money to come into public education. And so it's so important for us. We were a little quiet on the outset of, what do you think of House Bill 3, or what do you think of Senate Bill, whatever, all the bills. Until we knew what the impact potentially was going to be for our community, I stayed a little quiet. because I am the superintendent of Plano ISD, and it's my responsibility to advocate for the things that help us. Even though I want the best for all of public education, this is where it matters for me. So what we have found is that House Bill 3 at LBB just released the actual dollar amounts for us on Monday. So on Monday, we chimed in. And we supported House Bill 3 because it will give us $32 million of relief and recapture for next year and $16 million the year after that. And if we can get nearly $50 million of relief in our system, that will help us maintain programs, services, and supports for students and families being served in our district. And so we're down there. Randy was down there yesterday with our board president. Randy's our CFO. There were 93 amendments to House Bill 3, and it made it off the floor with almost no changes, which is good for us because some of those changes would not have helped us. They would have hurt us. And so we're there. I think I might be going back on Monday, but this is the time, and you have a whole team full of people advocating for this district, and we have the chamber and the city all working together to bring change in this session.
I'm going to add a quick question in here. Is there anything that our moms can do to help?
So I think it's really important, like right now would be a good time to reach out to Representative Leach, Representative Shaheen, Representative Noble, and Senator Paxton. As our representatives, they need to know, number one, we appreciate that they have been listening and working in relationship with us, and thank them for that communication. But we also need to let them know we expect them to be taking care of their constituents. And so, on one hand, make a phone call or write a letter or send an email saying, thank you, good job, keep it up. Because the session's not over and we're in the dog days of April, and a lot of things can happen when the bills start to come together, and then, the game is not over yet. So pay attention and keep watching our legislative page, or reach out to us. Our website tells what's going on, and don't be afraid to make your voice known. A lot of times our legislators are listening to our parents, and they don't just want to hear from the school people. You are the end user, and the customer is the student. So make sure that they're hearing from the parents of our customers. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. We're going to drop a link into the post so that everyone knows the website to go to get all the information, because everyone, we can all make a difference on this. So let's move on. So we're going to talk now about learning and teaching and educating. So we've had a couple of questions about expanding program options. So one parent asked if there are any plans to expand academy programs. And we had another question that was a little more specific, asking if the district will return to teaching trades in high school. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about the options parents and students have regarding their academic choices outside of comprehensive K-12 experience?
So I'm going to talk just some quick hits on some of the programs that are currently available, and then I'm going to talk about some things that are coming in the future. So you'll get both pieces of it. We have our first elementary academy model right now, and it is at Huffman. And I think there were a couple of questions about Huffman because people are curious about it, which is good. That's the whole idea, is providing choices that parents are interested in as opportunities for their kids to have different ways of learning. And so Huffman is an elementary IB PYP primary year program, and we have been in the certification process for the last 2 years. It's a long process to get IB'd, so to speak. So IB is a global education. So our elementary kids at Huffman are getting the opportunity to have their curriculum designed around a global culture and a global learning experience. And part of that includes one of the other things that were in a lot of the questions about access to foreign language at the earliest grade levels, because we know that's where kids learn language much more easily than an old person like me. And so at Huffman, the kids are learning Mandarin Chinese. So if you ever want to really see something amazing, go to Huffman on a tour. They give tours every week for parents and groups who want to see what that's like. Go watch kindergartners learning Mandarin Chinese. It is the most joyful, fun thing in the whole world. So we know we've got the beginning of a model there that we hope to be able to replicate. and in the district. So that's one thing. Then, when you introduce a program at elementary, you have to look at what is the vertical articulation of that up through the years. So what's coming next is what are we going to do at middle school for the Huffman kids, the kids who have that opportunity at Huffman. What happens to them between elementary and then IB at the high school or senior high? And so we're looking at the middle year program to see how do we keep the language acquisition and the global education focus going all the way through the system. And so those are things that are on the horizon. We have of course, the IB program at the IB World School of Plano East. We also have our Academy High School, which is a 9 through 12 STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics interdisciplinary project-based learning school. That is by application. You can get information about that from your counselor, from our website, as PISD. But that's a whole different way of learning. And again, they give tours. Go check it out. It's a very different way of learning. And for some kids, it is exactly what they need. So very exciting. We have a Health Science Academy for kids we know that our clinical health science model is a big need for the workforce, but it's been an area of high interest for our kids for a very long time. And the expansion of the Health Science Academy allows kids to enter the health science professions right out of high school, earn dual credit in those fields and certifications, and prepare them to go into health sciences, either college programs, continuing and technical education programs, or take a job right in and out of high school. So that's exciting. Coming down the line is workforce dual credit. We've not done that before besides Health Science Academy. So in partnership with Collin College, in fall of 2020, we will be opening Collin College is opening what they're calling the Collin Technical Campus. And they will have workforce dual credit that our kids will be able to go take advantage of in the areas of business management, architecture, construction, STEM, engineering, industrial automation, which includes robotics and cybersecurity, information technology, and transportation. And those fields were all designed around what is the business and industry and workforce needs in this area that kids could get a degree, an associate's degree, industry certifications right while they're in high school or right after high school that allow them to have great job opportunities. A construction management engineer with a 2-year degree, starting salary average $100,000. That is a good livelihood and a pathway for kids who want different opportunities because that fits their definition of success. And so we want to open that up. We have to open this up. And so we're super excited about getting kids in their pathways now to allow them to take advantage of those opportunities in 2020, which is right around the corner. So we've been working with Collin for 3 years on this project, and it's about to launch, and we're very excited about it. Current CTE opportunities are there. Go look at our website. Over 12,000 kids take advantage of CTE courses starting in middle school, and we see that just growing and exploding in our future. And I was a business ed teacher, so I taught business and computers and all those kind of workforce preparation programs, and to me that's life readiness. And so, kind of gets in my wheelhouse, you can tell.
I know, it's so great to hear all of this. And, Bonza, I want to say again, this is such a great opportunity for you to hear directly from Sarah herself about all these things. We've had a few comments already. I want to share them with you. First of all, great question on school finance. Thank you for answering that.
You're welcome.
And we've had a question about, will there be a link to this entire live video later? Yes, the video was going to stay in the group so you can watch it in full. So if you've missed your question being asked, you can go back and watch it again. And we did also have a comment. I'm trying to see who it was from. And she said, I love how PISD is focusing on workforce development.
Yeah, me too.
So next question. We've received several questions about adding programs, especially at the elementary campuses. The programs include the return of cursive writing, foreign language, and more STEM education at the elementary level, dual language and language immersion. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think I'm really excited about this, and I appreciate the questions. I think specializing or customizing education, we've always think it's a little bit more of a secondary idea, but the idea of kind of digging in at elementary in different and unique ways, we do want to make sure that kids have a basic foundational learning. They need strong reading skills and strong math skills. And strong science and, all of the core things. But to be able to start to specialize for our kids when their brains are so curious, is a really optimal time to try to do some more innovative things at the younger years. And it helps me to hear parents ask the questions about, handwriting or, to me, even keyboarding. So if you're going to teach handwriting, should you also start keyboarding earlier? Because computers are our kids will not get around it. I don't know what the keyboards are going to look like. That's the thing, right? And so how do we prepare kids? But we do coding now K through 12. So we've really expanded our computer coding, which is basic computer science, in the elementary years. And our robotics programs has more than doubled in the last 2 years and looking for further expansion. So we're really excited about those opportunities. But hearing you say, could we look at foreign language? Can we look at different innovative things? The strategic plan, actually, one of the pillars that's going to unveil very soon, talks about what choices are we offering to kids. And so the whole community, not just the moms that are chiming in on this group, but the whole community is very vested and interested in exploring further options, and that is not just a secondary conversation. So I think you're going to see, I can't get too far out there because the board has to see it first. They're my bosses. So, but that will come very soon, and I think you'll see some really interesting things coming out of innovation for all grades.
So, let's talk about special education.
Mm-hmm.
What is your personal knowledge of Plano ISD's special education program?
So, I came back as the interim deputy superintendent not quite 2 years ago. It's been a fast ride for a short period of time. One of the first challenges that I saw was in how we were meeting the needs of special education students. We do a really great job in a lot of things, but I am about continuous improvement in all things, and so saying we're good is not good enough until we've said 100% of 100%. Like when I was a principal at Williams, that was my goal, is we don't rest until we've met 100% of student needs 100% of times. And the people would say, you're crazy. And I'd say, but whose child? Right, aren't we responsible for everybody and taking care of all kids? And so special education is a huge part of that because the needs are diverse and we want to make sure we're doing what we need to do to help every child be successful. So one of the first things I did was engage the work of a consultant to help bring in an outside look at our services, our programs, our delivery, our staffing models. It's academic, it's behavioral, it's physical, it's emotional. It's speech, it's communication. You can't start saying it's just one thing. It's all things in special ed. And so doing a comprehensive needs assessment of where are we, what are the things that work well, and what are the things that are not working well, that is the first step of improvement. And so we have been on that journey for the last year and a half of how can we continue to grow. And I'll tell you, one of the outcomes of that was last summer we created a professional learning for our teachers called a behavioral support camp for teachers, where they came back of their own free time and worked on what do we need to know to better address helping kids who struggle in the classroom so that they can learn better. And part of that is how are they interacting with others and how are they communicating. And getting through the behavioral framework of support is an opportunity and a challenge. And so teachers and paraprofessionals who serve kids with certain needs were brought in to do intensive training. And that was only phase one. This summer we're kicking off phase two. And so our work continues, and we're in the process of developing some strategic plans around special ed. knowing that it's academic and we need to look at how kids are accessing grade level curriculum to the greatest degree possible so that they are college and career and life ready. The opening of the Adult Transition Center is, of course, to me, one of the things that is nearest and dearest to my heart, because we want kids to be able to go out into the community and be contributing members of society. And the Adult Transition Center, the first day there, their motto is, the first day here looks like the rest of your life. And so preparing kids for workforce and for life readiness, again, if you want to take a tour of some of the greatest new things that are happening here, go visit the Adult Transition Center. It's about 2 blocks from the admin building. And there's just amazing things happening there for our most adult learners, because we educate kids in special ed from age 3 to 22. And that is a continuum of service and a continuum of life. And so a lot of work to do. We've done a lot of work, and we will continue to work on all of the needs for special education students.
That's great. So I'm mindful of everyone's time. We're going to do one more question, and then you're just going to give us some kind of last things that you want to share with everyone. So let's talk about the procedures for managing bullying and behaviour issues at the school and district levels. Can you just speak to that a little bit?
I will. And I know this is such a topic for all of us. These are societal issues that manifest in our schools and in your homes. And, you know, as parents, I know you deal with it. As a parent, I know I dealt with it. And as a district, I take it really seriously. I mean, of course, by law, we have to take it seriously. But it's not about the law. It's about doing what's right for kids so that they can be healthy and happy individuals as they go through their school life and into their college life and into their adult lives. And mental health of children is a topic we all need to be paying attention to. And so, you know, there are very strict laws and procedures about bullying and harassment. But the most important part of following that is knowing about it. And so, to me, the most important thing we can do is to know. And the only way to know is if our kids will tell us. And so the tip line, the number of tips that we're getting since we instituted the tip line is huge. And we'll get that out to you because we want to know every type of bullying and harassment going on, because it's wide and it's deep. So some of it doesn't rise to the level of the legal definitions. It really doesn't matter. Regardless of what is defined as bullying and harassment, if a child does not feel safe in their school or going to school, that affects their ability to learn. And we need to do something about it in collaboration with the parents at home and how we help them, with the kids at school and how we help them in their classroom, with their counselor, with our social and emotional learning curriculum, which is now K through 12. We are one of the only districts that have social and emotional learning teachers in our schools, or teacher leaders leading the work in our schools. And we need to continue to advance and develop that so that the practices that are happening in our school are not only reactive, but proactive. Because part of addressing bullying and harassment is creating an environment where kids respect and love one another and care about each other so that they don't do those things. So SEL, social and emotional learning, that's a big deal. And we need to do everything we can from little bitty on to create the conditions for kindness and compassion to be the norm in our schools. And when we don't see it, we need to know about it first and foremost so that we can do something about it and implement all those good legal procedures and practices. But if you've gotten to that point, you know, you need something to happen, and we need you to reach out to us to let us help you. And if you don't feel like you're getting the support that you need from the procedures that are in place, we need you to call us. Because what we don't want is a student to get to the point of crisis where we have not had a chance to come in and try to help you. I feel really strongly about this, and so I hope that you'll help us and partner with us, because this is, like I said from the very beginning, this is not a small issue. This is a big societal issue that manifests in our school, and we need home, school, and students to partner around the staff to solve these issues, because it's a big one.
Yeah, and we just had a couple of comments about that, actually, and I think hopefully you've just been listening to what Sarah's been saying about it, and you you just know to follow the procedures, and if you do need to speak to anybody, please do.
Please. Don't wait.
Absolutely. They are asking who do they inform, but I know we'll drop the information.
We will put that out there for you.
Absolutely. So let's wrap this up. Tell us what should we know as parents about what's going to be happening next at PISD?
Okay, so the Strategic Plan Committee has been working for a year to put together a new vision for the future, and it was 75 community members, district leaders, school board members, students. So this very diverse group of parents and business and district folks have come together to reimagine education. And we will unveil the new vision, beliefs, and mission statement at the school board meeting on Tuesday, April 9th. So if you can't come, we stream live, and so you can watch it live, or you can come and see afterwards. You can watch it. We're so excited of where the work has evolved around, and so there will be 5 strategic pillars that are unveiled. And then at the April work session, which is 2 weeks from Tuesday, we'll reveal the strategies and the action plans that revolve around how do we actually get some of this work moving in the next year, and then 3 years and 5 years. So the plan is about to unfold. We'll have a community-wide kickoff on April 25th at the first ever State of the District event that'll be held in the evening of that very important day. And so we'll put some information out there. I don't know how big the venue will be, but we'll record it so that anybody who can't participate could watch it later as the community embraces this new vision for Plano students and families in the future.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to leave everybody with this. We have a forum on April 16th to meet all the PISD Board of Trustees candidates, 10 candidates who put themselves up for election. Please make sure that you listen to them, get to know them, and then make sure you cast your vote to help direct the vision and direction of PISD. And on that note, I want to thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time and the fact that you've put yourself in front of all the mums today. I know everyone's really grateful. And if you do have any other comments, any other questions, please do drop them. We will make sure you get all the information that you need. And if you do have specific questions, we'll make sure you get the answers that you need. And so on that note, I'm going to wish everybody
Thanks, Abby. Thanks, parents. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate the opportunity to meet you through the internet.